Here, the president-elect has a big load of problems to address, including how he wants to dial back through executive order those the president's prevented entering this country. So he's going to try to keep a lid on it, but tell that to Guatemalans who in huge protests with security forces in the country, and it's just seemingly imploded. And we're told that hundreds, maybe potentially thousands, are marching north to get to the United States. How to handle all of that right now with John Gihon, the former senior ICE attorney. John, very good to have you. First off, what do you make of what's going on in Guatemala right now? How concerned should we, the incoming administration, be?
Good afternoon, Neil. Thanks for having me back on. I don't think that the incoming administration needs to be terribly concerned about what's going on in Guatemala. These are things that we have seen at each of the different presidential elections and the midterm elections. There is always going to be a flood to the southern border for people to try to come and take advantage of the changes in the administration or the changes in Congress. And they're being lied to by the coyotes and being promised that President-elect Biden is just going to open the border and let everyone in. And that is simply not what he has planned.
The read from the Biden folks is not cease and desist, but just cool it. I'm trying to deal with this a step at a time, stage at a time. First off, with an executive order to reverse President Trump's move to limit those coming into this country from Muslim-dominated countries. This is a totally different matter. I agree. But will they push him? In other words, will these forces, as well as progressives in the United States who are eager to see a much more generous immigration policy, push him further?
I think that's absolutely what's going to happen. And this is what we're going to see is the migrant caravans are going to start coming. Once they finally get to the southern border, we're going to see what the optics look like. If you have these sort of optics where people are clashing with Mexican police and clashing with CBP and Border Patrol agents, then we're going to have a real problem. And President Biden, by that point, is going to really have to deal with it. Now, President Trump has spent the last 4 years trying to stop these types of mass migrations. He's been largely successful through a variety of different immigration policies, which President-elect Biden said he's going to overturn and be more welcoming. The problem is that you can't overturn that overnight. You can't, on Inauguration Day, sign an order and then suddenly the entire southern border is going to be able to handle a mass migration. And that's why Biden's people are saying, listen, calm down, take your time. We're going to get to you. We're going to be different. We're going to be more welcoming, but we can't do it immediately, and you need to be patient.
Well, I could be wrong, John, but they've not gotten that translation. I think, and Guatemala is just a more recent, a little bit jarring example here, that they think there's a new, kinder sheriff in town, and he will be much more accommodative. So, you know, if you think about it, Biden really is between a rock and a hard place on this. How does this play out?
You're absolutely right about that. The problem is the human smugglers will take any opportunity they can to sell people who are extremely desperate and are fighting violence and fighting crime in their home countries, and they have no hope. Now they have hope. President Biden's coming in, and the coyotes and smugglers are taking advantage of it. They're promising things to these individuals that they cannot keep, that President Biden's going to let them into the U.S., and they're going to get work permits, and they're going to get driver's license, and they're going to be safe, and they're going to get to raise their families here. And that's simply not going to be possible early on, and President Biden has to be firm. He has to work with our allies in Mexico and in the Northern Triangle countries in Central America to try to stem the flow of these migrants. We can allow a trickle in, and we can take care of people who really need help and need protection from their home countries. We can't handle thousands and thousands of people coming to the border every single day looking for a better life. We simply can't handle that right now. Maybe in a few years, but not right now.
Yeah, not right now. John Gihon, thank you very much. The former senior ICE attorney, much more, but a good read of what's happening at our border. So you can imagine a good deal is and will. So we'll keep an eye on that. Also keeping an eye on the social media.